Hello, I'm Gustavo Silva. I'm an undergraduate student at Aeronautics Institute of Technology. And on behalf of Marcos Máximo and Lourenço Pereira, I will present a minimalist open source behavior tree framework in C++. So let's start. Our presentation is divided in 4 parts: introduction, theoretical background, results, and conclusion. So starting with introduction. First, about our team. Our team is called It Androids. It is a robotics team in São José dos Campos at Aeronautics Institute of Technology. We participate in robotics competition and related areas since 2005, and we have won many awards since then. For example, in LARC, we have been consistently placed in the first place of the competition. So we have lots of experience in developing robotics applications. Our team has many categories. For example, humanoid, very small size, and in all of these categories, a very important aspect is the decision making. So all of our categories use or plan to use behavior tree as the main agent architecture, but we do not have a formal structure to organize these behaviors. So that's the purpose of this project. Develop this framework to organize behaviors. So we contribute by developing a minimalist open source behavior tree framework. Uh, First, it was developed for our internal purposes, but then we found out that it could be used by pretty much anyone, since it was very simple to use and to integrate. So we decided to share it in Lars. So that's the motivation behind this project. Here I talk about some related words. For example, in the video game industry, behavior trees are very important to model AI of video games. So most of game engines such as Unity and Unreal, they provide structures for behavior modeling, and many of them are based in behavior trees. In robotics, we have a ROS-based library. ROS is a very popular middleware toolkit for robotics, and ROS Behavior Tree provides a behavior tree structure for ROS. Here we make a comparison about our work and ROS Behavior Tree. So, in terms of features, it is important to emphasize that our framework is a micro framework, meaning it's minimalist. So we only provide the basic structures and functions to form a behavior tree. We don't provide anything else. ROS behavior tree, on the other hand, is a very more complete framework. It provides a graphical interface, Blackboard debug features, etc. Uh, so in terms of features, ROS behavior tree is more complete because our purpose is to make a minimalist behavior tree framework, a micro framework. But in terms of simplicity, our work is implemented in pure C++, so we don't require any dependencies, meaning it is very easy to integrate in any project since it does not use any other dependencies. And the implementation is intuitive and quick. You can make a behavior tree very quickly using our framework. And ROS behavior tree, since it depends on ROS, it is engineered for ROS, it requires many dependencies of ROS. And the interface of this library must be compatible with ROS. So we think our work is very more simple, which comes at the cost of having less features. And in terms of efficiency, our work is very lightweight. Each node takes only a few bytes of memory, and the tree processes very fast. So any implementation of our tree is not bottlenecked by the structure. It is very efficient. So you think it is very lightweight, very efficient. And ROS behavior tree, it is also very efficient, but since it has other features and dependencies, they may affect the performance. But it is very efficient, nonetheless. So in terms of features, I think our work has less features, but we provide a more simple way to form a behavior tree. So let's proceed. Now we make a theoretical background on behavior trees, how they work. So a behavior tree is an extensible, high modularized tree structure of hierarchical nodes, which controls the decision and execution flow of a certain agent. This agent can be a enemy from a shooting game, it can be a robot, any agent. So it is extensible because you can always add more, and modularized because everything is modular. Each node, which is this atom of the its element of the tree, it has a function, and it is hierarchical because each node has a parent. For example, this sequence here is child of selector, for example. And each of its nodes, it can return an execution status, success or failure. And based on this execution status, the tree must decide how to execute the children. For example, in this piece here of sequence inverter, we check if the enemy has cover. If it has, we return success. So inverted, it will invert the result. So it will return failure. So it will not shoot at the enemy because the enemy has cover. But if the enemy has not cover, so we shoot at the enemy. So that's the idea behind the behavior tree. Uh, so talking about nodes, which are these elements of the tree, we have three kinds of nodes in a behavior tree. We have leaves. Leaves does not have any children, and they are responsible to interact with the agent, executing an action or checking a condition. So enemy has cover is an example of a condition. Shoot at enemy is an example of action. Composite has two or more children. It decides which of its children should be executed and then process the results. Common composites are selector, which is illustrated here, and sequence, which is also here. And decorator, it has exactly one child, and it decides how its child should be executed and how to process its execution status. So, common decorators are repeater, inverter, and force. For example, here we have an inverter, which is a decorator in this example. So about our results, implementation follows this class diagram. First, for the nodes, we have this free node. It is the base node for all nodes that are implemented. It is an abstract class. So it has a name, argument, and a parent due to hierarchical feature. And it has the enter and executed methods of a behavior tree. Um, and see that leaves, composites, and decorators, they all are inherited from tree node. So leaf node, it is equivalent to tree node, but we renamed it just for notation purposes because it makes more sense for the user to implement from leaf node instead of tree node. And it does not have any children. So composite node, it inherits from the tree node, uh, but it has a vector of three nodes, pointers. So it will point to many other nodes. Due to inheritance, children may be leaves, decorators, or other composites. So this tree is not. So the children are not restricted to leaves. They can be composites or decorators. And in our implementation, sequence and selector are already implemented, so you can already use it. Decorator, it also inherits from tree node. It has a single pointer to its child. And this child, again, since it is a tree node, it can be either a leaf node, a composite node, or a decorator. And we have implemented some decorators, repeater, retry, force, and inverter that are available for use. And for that tree, we have two classes. First, behavior tree. It represents a behavior tree itself. A tree has a root, only one root. And the update method executes the tree from the root, and it returns the execution status. And the behavior tree builder, it is an auxiliary class to quickly build behavior trees. It is built with a recursive algorithm with these methods, leaf, composite, decorator, and end. And the build returns the behavior tree object. So it is a builder. In the paper, we show more details on how it works. But basically, it is an auxiliary class to build behavior trees. Here, we make a simulation of a behavior using Python as a simulation. We make an API with C++ and send it to Python. So we have an agent here, a robot, a cleaning robot. It will move forward, move in spiral. If it collides, it must go back and rotate. So let's see. So it is moving forward, following the sequence. Now it is moving in spiral. Oh, but it hit the wall. So it go back, rotate. Now it is moving forward and spiral. And so like that. So concluding, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Altium, Scenic, Intel, ItaX, MathWorks, Messenger, Micropress, Polymode, Rapid, SolidWorks, STM Microelectronics, Wildlife Studios, and Virtual Pixels for supporting our team and this project. And that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm available for any questions about the library, and thank you very much.